guys. Hold on, let me play this song right here. Hey, perspective me. I'm gonna play some of this. Hold on. Sorry, wrong one. Hold on.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold on now. Wait a minute, fellas. Wait a minute. I think it goes something like this. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Cause every time I turn around, there's something trying to keep me down. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Whoa, can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. When I look up, don't you know, burdens knocking at my door. So won't you come and take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Oh, come and take these burdens off of me. Off of me. Somebody come and take these burdens off of me. Off of me. Soon as I get up off the ground, my burdens knock me right back down. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Well, off of me, off of me. Oh, off of me, off of me. Well, off of me, off of me. Get them off of me, off of me. Come and break the chain. Come and break the chain. Get it off of me. Get it off of me. I need somebody. I need somebody. I need somebody. I need somebody to get this burden. To get this burden. Can somebody take these burdens off of me?
Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry it took me a little longer than I expected to come back, but I just wanted to be in the right spirit of what I needed to bring out to you. So before I begin, I just want to say a word of prayer so God will move, and what is needed to be said and what is needed to be heard will be done according to his will and his way. So I'm just going to pray a short prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you this afternoon, Father God. As I begin this live, Father God, I ask you to take control. Let the hearers hear the things that you want me to say today, Father God. Let me operate in divine order, which you have established before the foundation of this earth, Father God. I pray, Father God, that as I decrease, that you will increase, and that this information or whatever it is that you have for me to give to the people today, that it will go into fertile ground and will accomplish what you have set it forth to be. Father, I ask you to, I pray for healing during this, whatever is being said, Father God. I pray for restoration. I pray for families to get back together, Father God. I pray that the fight for Robert Sylvester Kelly will go forth according to your purpose, according to your will. Father, I thank you, Father, for allowing me to be used as an instrument to bring forth your word today. Father, I thank you. I honor you. I glorify you. Is this in the precious name of Jesus Christ I pray today. Amen. Amen. And amen. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead. I got a couple of interviews to play, and I got a couple of things to show you guys. It's a lot. I'm gonna try to do it in a timely manner, and I just want you guys just to bear with me for a moment in what I need to bring out. As you guys could tell, the title has to do with Robert. I try to do it in a way where YouTube will not hinder what is being to be brought forth. But this is something that is necessary, something that is important, that needs to be brought out. There are some things that I did put down on paper, and I'm going to let this reader read it for you. Um, and I'm gonna let you guys see some of this. And if anybody wants to utilize this live, it's fine, because it's something that needs to be brought forth, and I just want God to set forth the healing in all of this. I'm going to first share this about trauma, what childhood trauma does, and how different how it affects different people different ways. And I'm gonna bring um, some slides, some just a whole bunch of information. I just hope I don't overload you guys with this stuff. But I'm just praying God to set it forth the way it's supposed to be sent off, so you guys could understand what is being said. Okay. Um, First, I'm going to share this with you guys about childhood trauma and how it affects the brain. And a lot of people don't understand what Robert has gone through as a child. And it's said that anytime a child has been affected by some sort of trauma before the age of 6, there are certain things that could be reprogrammed. They could be reprogrammed. Like if a child's young and is and if it suffers some sort of trauma, that child can bounce back if it's before the age of 3, I believe. And then from the age of 5 to the age of 12, those type of trauma lasts with for a lifetime within that child, because that's the developing time for the child. Okay. It says childhood trauma in early childhood can result in disruptive attachment, cognizant delay, and impair emotional regulation. Also, the overdevelopment of a certain pathway and the underdevelopment of others can lead to impairment later in life, meaning that could be some of the reason why Robert has suffered dyslexia and a lot of those, learning disability that he may have, right? I don't know his diagnosis, so I'm not diagnosing him any kind of way, but I'm just sharing some of the information that I know about, because I've been in the field of childhood trauma, which being a person that have been a foster parent, as well as having a nonprofit organization that deals with children who has been affected by trauma. Okay. Um, it says shows about the adverse childhood experience, which they call it ACE. ACE basically is those are like physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, mental illness of a household member, problematic drinking, or alcoholism in the household of household members, and illegal street or prescription drug use by the household. And then we go on and talk about the 8 different childhood experiences that could possibly be something that Rob had gone through. Another ACE survey is comprised of 8 domains, which is physical, emotional, sexual abuse, household mental illness, household substance abuse, household domestic violence, incarceration of household member, and parental separation and divorce. All right, so I'm going to stop that. This is just to give you a layout of why certain things have been the delay of learning that may have caused Robert had to have some sort of disability. This is not factual. I'm just giving you guys information, right? As you guys go into the book, Robert's book, Solar Coaster, I highlighted a couple of things that I wanted to read to you guys in regards to some of the trauma that he has dealt with, and how one of the things that he has done to kind of shelter him from the trauma, he pushed all of his focus and desire towards. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Like when Tyler Perry went through his trauma as a child, he started doing make believe of acting. He started having different. That's how he came up with Medea, because Medea is a bunch of different personalities of what he was feeling and what individuals that represented it in his life. So Medea is a compilation of different people in his life. It's not just one person. It's a bunch of different people. His mama, his auntie, and those are word letters and people's name that he put together to develop Medea. His trauma has caused him to be great in the performing arts, but he did suffer through it. So it was like his shelter, his hiding place for the stuff he had gone through as a child, right? It's like turning lemons to lemonade. You've gone through something, but God allowed you to utilize that for you to become great and just be able to share it to the world. And that's what happened with Robert, right? I was reading in page, I think this is page 1, I think, right? And he said the music is swarming, and this is around line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? He says, from my earliest memories to the last night's recording session, music has been my life's mission and my greatest passion. I feel like God has placed a lifetime of melodies inside me, and that's a wonderful thing. But unfortunately, the great gift can become with a great price and a hell of a responsibility. I called it I call my gift a beautiful disease. You see how he defined his gift as a beautiful disease? Then he talks about, on the next page, page 2, he talks about how he said, it took me a lot of time, effort, and energy, and a lot of God's grace to learn to recognize the gift for what it was and harness it. Even as I struggle on other ways, I've got a leash in my music and now I can walk it, not running wild anymore. I can walk it wherever I go. I want it to go. Then he says that this book is like my music. It's not just stray melodies. It comes to me late at night. So to me, it seems as if something occurred when he was young in the night hours, right? Because the music is replacing the bad memories and the hurt. So, okay, let me finish. It says here, it comes to me late at night, certain scenes, voices, and memories appearing unexpectedly. Things that made me proud and things that's still hard for me to even think about. So that's why I was saying, that's why if you hear everybody talk about how his creativity in music is always late at night. So without ever speaking to him, but reading his words in these books, I can understand how he replaced those unpleasant situations to something that God had given to him, his music. Yeah, if you notice, they were saying how he would go to the studio in the middle of the night, not in the daytime. More of his creativity occurred in the middle of the night. So that's a form of trauma, but he's redirecting that trauma into music. You get it? Then he talks about All right, he says, my life is like a mansion with lots of rooms. Some of those rooms are well lit with bright, joyful color party lights and full of happiness. Other rooms are dark, and some of the doors to the rooms have never even been cracked open. Well, now I'm opening up the doors. I'm inviting you in. So now he is in this book, he's basically sharing with you a lot of things that he has never shared. That's why I told you guys to get the book to read, because now you can understand some of the pain, some of the stuff that he has been harboring and things that he has been going through. And this is his words, right? And if you compare to what he is reading, what Choke is reading compared to what's in his book, it sounds about the same. Okay. Now the book begins. The first person he talks about in his book is his mom. That is the first person he opens up the book talking about, is his mom. He talks about some parts of the experience, but he changed the experience and focused on music. But now he's talking about his mom. Okay. And he said here, when I call out mom, it brings the spirit of Joanne Kelly into my heart. I'm calling out mom at the beginning of this book because as I go through the pages of my life and starts to wake up the images and feelings of my past, I need to invoke her here in the present. I need the spirit of my mother by my side. She's still my guide and my strength. And I was the first one to believe. She was the first one to believe in me. She told me that I could achieve all things through Christ. Okay. And then he goes about, if you go down to the middle of the book, he talks about how financially, how they were impoverished and he had difficulty. He didn't have anything, but he didn't have the money. But what they had spirituality, which meant everything to him. Okay. Now, here's the thing that really got me. Here's the thing that really got me about Robert's book, right? He has repeated the cycle of what happened to him. He started repeating the cycle, even though he didn't want to. And that's why I believe that with, sorry, I'm blocking this person. I'm going to read something to you guys, which God brought out to me in this. He says, my mother wasn't ashamed to talk about her imperfection, right? She discussed her faults, telling me how she wanted to stop drinking and smoking. Now, remember when Carrie was talking about, I'm going to back up for a minute. I'm going to play something to you guys. This is an interview with Carrie outside, because this family has gone through trauma. Everybody in the family has gone through trauma, not just Robert, but Carrie as well as Teresa, as well as Bruce, right? It's just that they handle things differently. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to play an interview with Carrie. Okay. And you got to hear the words that he is saying in this interview, okay? Hold on a second. I'm trying to charge this iPad before it dies out on me. Just bear with me a second. Okay. And I'm focusing on Robert's trauma because it seems like everybody is talking about these women are victim and all this kind of stuff, but nobody. What about Robert? What about him? But let me go ahead and play this for you. Hold on. What about the family, period? Not just Robert. What about the whole family in a whole? People think money fixes everything. Money don't. Money don't fix anything. It just cover things up and camouflage it, make it look different. You know what I'm saying? Trauma is trauma, and he's never been healed from the trauma. There's a lot of things in my head that I want to share with you guys. That God placed in my head that I need to open you guys' mind up. But let me just go ahead and play Carrie's interview, and then I've got something to explain to you guys about this. Okay? All right, here we go.
Kids, growing up, actually me and Bruce was close.
Hold on, I'm gonna go back. Okay. Now there's hurt on all angles with this family, with all four siblings. There's hurt. And I'm gonna play with you. I'm gonna play Bruce because I mean not Bruce, Carrie's. And a lot of people are angry with Carrie because of what he said, but he's operating from a place of hurt and from his trauma. So I'm just gonna play it. Just listen carefully, okay?
About 4 years younger, not quite.
Yes.
Tell me about your relationship with your brother growing up. Were you guys close?
I mean, we was like the average kids, growing up. Actually me and Bruce was closer, because by me being the baby.
So you hear that. Him and Bruce was closer because he was the baby. So for a while, Robert was the main attention for his mom because Robert was the youngest before Carrie came along. So to me, it's always been some sibling rivalry because Rob has always been his mama's baby, but then here's this younger one who's trying to get the mom's attention, but Robert is getting more of his mom's attention because of his learning disability, and his mom recognized that he was her special child, right? He's a little bit different. He's I don't want to use the word because folks gonna start thinking something bad about what I'm about to say, but he was close to his mom, very close.
Robert was the baby before me. I put it that way. So when I came along, it's just like maybe I shouldn't have came along. So my mom kind of paid a lot.
Do you hear that, right? He's already feeling it. Something inside of him when he was younger felt that maybe I shouldn't have came along because Rob's mom catered more towards Robert. And so, the baby child, see, and the thing is, I know I was having this argument with somebody about how parents try to treat the kids all the same, but each kid is not the same. So the love language for each kid has to be addressed on that love language, not okay. Say I'm just saying for myself. Say Sylvia likes Barbie dolls. I'm just using that as an example. I like Barbie dolls, and say Queen Diva likes trucks, right? And say T girl likes big wheelers, right? So the mom goes out and buy everybody big wheelers. You get what I'm saying? But it's not fulfilling my love need. It's not fulfilling Queen Diva's love need. It's only fulfilling who? T-girl's love need, right? Love language. So for some way, kids tend to have some sort of animosity towards the one whose love language is being fulfilled and not the other one. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to explain it in a way so everybody would get what I'm talking about. So there's always been this like rivalry between the four of them. Not them too much the older kids, because the older kids are a little bit different, but the younger one. Now, on top of that, not only that they're having this childhood rivalry, they've been touched. They've been sexually abused. And I believe Teresa was sexually abused in some kind of way, because when kids are abused, they tend to emulate what was done to them to somebody else. You get what I'm saying? So someone abused Teresa, and that's why because Teresa wasn't born to touch the other kids. That's not the way they were born. You get what I'm saying? So what happened to her kind of spill over to doing that to the younger ones. Okay, they're dealing with childhood rivalry as well as sexual abuse. So it's trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma. If it's not dealt with, there's a lot of issues going on. Okay, learned behavior. You're right, Diva. Okay, let me finish playing his interview, but listen to what he is saying. Listen with an open heart when you're hearing what he's saying.
Attention to me because I'm the youngest, and I really needed her help and look for her guidance. So, he's no longer the baby at this point.
So you guys, it doesn't sound like you're particularly close growing up.
Not really. I mean, yeah and no. Because a lot of times I used to try to look for his blessing on different things. By me being the youngest, we played basketball, things of that nature, and I used to want to be like Michael Jordan, like they want to be like Michael Jordan. So I wanted to always look for their approval. Bruce gave it to me pretty much, but Robert, it was a challenge. Because like I said, I actually, he was the baby before I was born. So.
And then tell me the order of your siblings, oldest to youngest.
My sister Teresa, she's the oldest. Then it's Bruce. Then Robert, then me.
And Bruce is in prison right now?
He's in the county.
He's in county jail.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the old interview. Bruce is not in jail.
Why did you decide to participate or be interviewed for Surviving R. Kelly?
Well, it's a lot of different things. I mean, that my family has endured and went through. I love my brother. A lot of people think that I'm trying to just like destroy his character or destroy him. It's not about that. My thing is, if my mom was here, my mom spoke the truth. And she always taught us to speak the truth. And it's like a lot of things that transpired and happened. I feel bad that I hadn't came forth earlier.
Like what things are you referring to?
I mean, just with the allegations with the girls and different things of that nature. When I was on tour, he used to ask me to go get girls. And I used to tell him, no, that was another reason we fell out. Because what Robert couldn't understand was, how's everybody running around doing everything that he say, but his little brother is being, rebellious toward it.
When you say he used to ask you to get girls, are we talking underage girls?
I mean, to me, they look underage. To me, they look underage. When I looked at them, I seen like my daughter. I'm like, man, she looked young in the face. Oh, you hating on me. I'm like, hating on you for what? I mean, I'm not gonna do that. Because I don't want nobody doing that to my child. So that's why I pretty much. I gotta put this phone on vibrate, but that's why I pretty much got into it with him a lot, because like I said, you got grown people, adults that's working with him that did everything he said, like the puppet master.
Well, since we already kind of touched on it, there are
okay, guys, y'all hear the same childhood rivalry in his interview, same childhood hurt in his interview. I hear it, right? Do I still hear it? You hear it, right? Unresolved childhood issues that could have been I believe that therapy is definitely needed in this family. I believe that there's a lot of unresolved hurt, a lot of, and I'm not going to say jealousy. I'm not going to say jealousy because the feelings that they have are valid for their experience. So I cannot just say it's jealousy. I can't. And I can't say it's just bitterness. It's unresolved childhood trauma. It's unresolved childhood trauma. And when trauma happens, it causes you to react a certain way. I'm going to bring up something here to show you guys how trauma affects everybody differently. I know we're all looking for trauma to be one particular thing, but everybody handles trauma differently. Okay? You're dealing with somebody, a male, who was violated. Both of them was violated, right? And neither one of them could share the real story of what happened to them, right? And there's a lot of things that when they try to hold on a second. I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to show you the impact of what trauma does. And I know a lot of people say that he's jealous, he's this, he hate his brother, but it's how they never got help. Okay, here's some of the effects on how trauma affects each individual. Hold on a second. Let me just bring it up. All right. Do y'all see this? Can y'all read this? This is the impact of trauma. You see? Each individual but we can't just name it jealousy. That's all I'm saying, Janice. You can't just name it jealousy because it's a whole compilation of a lot of things. You just can't put one label on it. I'm just saying, that's all I'm saying. We got to look at it. You can put it into a reenactment. You could put it in loss of self-worth. You could do it as loss of sense of self. You can do it as loss of physical connection to the body. I mean, those are the things that happens. When you just say jealousy, it seems like, it sounds like, oh, he's jealous because he made it. No. There's a disconnect that's happening in the brother. Most family who's not affected by trauma, that they would be able to have a loving relationship with the brother and sister, where they would want to be part of their brother's success and wants to be part of it. But when you're dealing with trauma, things get misconstrued in the mind. So that's why we can't just label it as jealousy or envy, because it's not the facts on that. There's a lot of rooted issues that has never been resolved. And it turns out it looks like he's jealous or it looks like he's envious, but in reality, he'll tell you, I'm not jealous of my brother. I'm not envious of my brother. I'm happy my brother did this. I'm happy my brother got me to go to over the seas. Remember, if you listen to this interview with Tasha K, you will hear that he's proud of his brother. In fact, he wants to help his brother, but he doesn't know how to, because there's so much childhood unresolved hurt and trauma that they have gone through, that it's like, whoa, what do we do with these people who's 50, 60 years old, 40 years old? How do we change it? But you can, through God, you can, Diva, Queen Diva, you can, because there's a lot of people who handles that type of trauma in adults that can help them to iron out some of those issues, and eventually it might take a lifetime, and they do change. That's how some people become world-renowned inspiration speakers, because they have overcome some of those things. And number one thing is self-care, self-love. That's how they overcome a lot of those things. Just 1 second. Hold on a second. And I'm telling you guys, based on my personal experience, as far as me dealing with kids that has had trauma, adults who have had trauma, I've been in this field for several years. That's why I know what I'm talking about. I'm not a psychiatrist. I could have been one, but that's not the field I wanted to get into. But I'm a lifelong learner of this. So that's why people can relate, can be drawn to me, because I can understand, I can empathize with them because of my my learning. I was hoping somebody in this chat who's in that field could help me out a little bit, for me to explain to you guys what I'm talking about. And that's where my expertise. Hold on a second. I'm gonna just bring it up for you guys. Hold on a second. Okay. Here's some sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Here's some of the how to support someone who has experienced trauma. Okay. First, let's start with the blue space. The blue space. Allow time for that survivor to calm down, to take perspective. Trauma survivors often have difficulty regulating emotion and take longer to calm down, right? Recalibration. To rid overreacting, oversensitive, because definitely this man is acting in that sense. I'm talking about Carrie. I'm talking about Carrie. I'm not talking about Robert right now. I'm talking about Carrie because he is his let me just finish. Okay. It says oversensitive. He's oversensitive. He's over anything from vocabulary, right? And it says choices. It can be a big trigger when a survivor is denied choice and control, conquer collaboration or cooperative, right? He needs the support. They all need the support, all of them. You got to be kind to them, loving, patient, but empathetic. Set limits. You have needs too, meaning that so those who are trying to help them, they have to realize that as well as being kind and understanding to them, you still have to make sure you have set those limits and boundaries for those type of people because sometimes you get sucked in. You can go a perspective, be aware when past is intruding into the present. Don't take responsibility for what is not yours or gently. Meaning this is what they would have to do. Be very perspective, put it in perspective. Don't whatever they're going through, they can't go and put it on themselves saying that, for example, saying that everybody hate me and or everybody's thinking about Robert and not thinking about me. They want me to do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? So because I listened to his interview with Tasha K. Okay. Regardless of what, we have to understand this is a family, this is blood. This is a family that has gone through a lot. A lot of us are looking at, oh, he's a superstar, he's this and that, and don't realize these are human beings who have real family issues, who have they're real people. He's just not R. Kelly, the superstar. He is a human being that has hurts, that has pain, that has never been resolved. You had a whole bunch of leeches and people around him who didn't see the needs of that person. They focused on the money and they were there as takers in this man's life and not there to be helpers. You get what I'm saying? They were there to monopolize on his financial gain, not really there to nurture and help him through whatever pain that he was going through. There's a lot of pain that this man has gone through, a lot, but these people have camouflaged it with finances. And like I told you earlier, money does not fix things. It makes things, you could pay for things, makes it easier, but it does not change the internal pain and turmoil that's happening. Now, I was reading in the book here, right? You guys remember he talks about his dad, right? When he asked his mom about his dad, and his mom told him not to talk about that man. I'm gonna bring back on page number 6, right? He talks about he had a stepdad. His name was Lucius. If you guys remember in the closet, trapped in the closet, he talked about Lucius. Lucius is in the trapped in the closet, so I guess he given homage to him. But in according to this, the relationship with him and Lucius, he respected Lucius, but for some strange reason, he didn't see him as a father. You know what I mean? He still had that standoffish um, feeling, attitude towards Lucius. And I'm just going by what his book is saying, because this is like my third time in this book, and I'm going page by page. I told you guys to read it, so I'm going through reading it as well, so I could get into what he's saying, what's in his mind, and stuff like that, and go through it as if he was um one of my clients or one of my kids that has dealt with trauma, and seeing what he's feeling, because these are his words. These are what's going on inside of him. And um in here he says, as a kid, when I first understood that my father left my mother when she was pregnant with me, I wasn't really upset about it, but it hurt. Thankfully, I had someone who was a genius of being a mother and a father. So he saw his mom as being mother and father. Okay. Then he says, though I've never met or seen my father on special occasion. He didn't say he never actually met him at all. He said he never met or seen him on special occasions. Okay. He says, like Christmas and birthdays. That's why these dates are important. That's why he goes all out for his in on the witness stands. They talk about how he did special things for people for their birthday, because he is yearning the things he missed as a child for a father blessing him during that time. So what he do is he do what he was missing for someone else. You get it? Okay. He says, on special occasions like Christmas and birthdays, my siblings' fathers would come by and take them shopping for toys and clothes. I never got jealous, right? But I do remember being sad and curious. So go back to the trial and think about what they said that he did for his girlfriends. Go back to the trial. Get it? Go back. What he was missing, he was fulfilling in someone else. He was fulfilling in someone else. In fact, one day, this is when he said, when I was about 12, I decided to ask my mom questions about my father, like, who is he? Where is he? And why doesn't he come to take me out for my birthday? Hear that? My birthday. He makes a big deal with those women on their birthday. Or bring anything for me for Christmas. Those two things he makes big deal in his life. Birthday and Christmas. Birthday and Christmas. Look at Hallie, what he did for her. He had a private concert, invited all her family, bought her all this gift, gave every single one of them get a lot of money on their birthday. And Christmas, what did he do? He gives them money. He not only does he buy them gifts, he gives them money to give gifts to the people that is in their setting. So those two things, you don't hear Mother's Day, you don't hear Father's Day, you hear those two things that were so freaking important to him. Birthdays and what? Christmas. He makes a big deal out of those two things, because those are the two things he yearned for, and in his childhood trauma that he desired to have. That's why he blessed them during those times. He made a big deal for them because that was a big deal for him. You get it? He said he never got jealous, but he was sad and curious. In fact, one day when I was about 11 or 12, I decided to ask my mom a question about him, right? And then my mother would just roll her eyes, look away from me, and say, "Don't say nothing to me about that no good son of a B, because the minute he found out I was pregnant with you, his coward ass disappeared, and then in the wind. He said didn't want to have nothing to do with me or you either." Now, hold up right here, y'all. What did Robert end up doing? What did Robert end up doing? What did Robert end up doing? Marrying someone who said what his mom did, what his mom said. Well, what his mom did to him. What did his mom do? And I'm not bashing his mom at all, y'all. She did the best that she could at the time that she could do it, because based on her personal experience. You understand what I'm saying? She told him, "Don't you dare talk to me about this man. He left us, and that I don't ever ask me anything about him." Right? So what he did, even though he didn't want that to happen to him and his wife, he ended up marrying someone who did exactly what he had experienced from his dad. Now he's experiencing it as a dad. Guys, you understand what I'm saying? He's experiencing, he marries a woman who turns around and did the same thing his mom did to him. He's experiencing it as a father. No longer as a child, but as a father. So he because of him not healing from his past trauma, he's reliving it. He's reliving it. And if that cycle, that generational curse is not broken, the children and the children's children is going to be all affected. They're all going to do the same thing. It's just like a mother who's on welfare. The grandmother's on welfare. The grandkids is on welfare. And it never gets broken until somebody breaks that cycle. Get what I'm saying? And every single one of them experiencing that. Look at Carrie. Carrie experienced it too. Even though his dad was around, but his dad wasn't there. He just was there for Christmas and birthdays and things like that. You see what I'm saying, y'all? Generational curses. Generational curse. Even though you don't desire, you don't want to ever be like your dad, you end up being like your dad. Not because you want to, but because that's is what happens if it's not dealt with head on. Not intentionally, but it does happen. If it's not broken, if that cycle is not broken, if that generational curse is not broken. If that general curses is not broken. It's biblical, y'all. He said, he promised her, he says, his mom said, "I'm your mother and your father," right? And then she said, "I promise." So he promised his mother that he will never talk about him again. And he never did. And I remember taking the words "father" and putting it into a little brick box in the back of my mind until now. So it's a lot of trauma, guys. That he has dealt with. But there's a lot of, even with the young lady Lulu, being killed. That's another trauma. So losing the someone at that age and being that young. I mean, it's a lot of. I'm not gonna continue with this, but I just wanted to bring you guys a little bit of information, and that's why I tell you guys get the book, start reading the book, start reading the book. I'm not staying on here. Start reading the book. But I wanted to play an interview with you guys, and I just pick and choose certain things for you guys to hold on a second. I ain't planning on being here that long. I'm just giving you guys little nuggets. That's it. I know some of you guys have.
It became quiet again.
It's an interview y'all heard this interview.
No, someday the world will know Robert's name. And the people would clap. Oh, I said, that is. I gotta wait till the L stop. That allowed me to develop my patience. Once I developed my patience, I come to find that I had learned how to sing with strength, because before I learned how to develop my patience, I actually learned how to sing loud, trying to sing over the L, which gave me strength in my voice, which gave me the ability to be able to ring out like a bell when I sing. It also allowed me to connect with people, because I would be singing my songs that I wrote, but I didn't feel there was a connection. The only time I felt the connection is when I started noticing people were coming down from work to catch the L, and they had McDonald's bags in their hands. And I was like, McDonald's. If I write a McDonald's song while these people are holding McDonald's bags in their hands, I'm going to connect, because they're going to laugh and they're going to say, I can't believe this guy's down.
Oh, guys, I forgot to tell you, there's another trauma that I wanted to tell you guys about. Why isn't it anybody doing anything about Demetrius? Okay. Remember, Demetrius met Robert when he was about 17 years old or 18 years old, right? Demetrius was 10 years older than Robert, right? And he's saying how he taught Robert everything he knew. He's the true predator, because he's the one who, at the time Robert was really young, having kids by somebody 16, 17 years old, as well as he is the one who was working with this guy. I think the guy's name was Chuck or Charles, and the guy was doing pornography, and they were having 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds in their studio taking pictures of them. It's all in Demetrius's book. Demetrius Smith, the one that's supposed to be the informant of the government. In his book, he talks about him and the guy Chuck doing this modeling thing, and they were taking nude pictures of 12, 13-year-old girls. Nobody's talking about that, huh? Yeah, but Demetrius lied to Denitra, because Robert and I is the same age, And he met Robert in 1985. 1985, Robert was turning 17. He was turning 18. He was 18 in January because I was 18 in February. But he met him in 2005 because 2004 he was in jail. Demetrius was in jail. Demetrius was in jail. If you look at his record, it shows that he was in jail in 18. 1984, 85, he came out. So he lied. Robert was not 16. Because he was in jail when Robert was 16. That man tells lies all the time. I go by what my age is and when he was in jail, and I calculated it that way. So, yeah, I'm exact same age as Robert. I'm February 20th. His is January 8th, 1967. So that, I can never make a mistake about that because I know exactly. He knows his father. He has been repeatedly by family members. He has been repeatedly by several family members. Kelly tells what he wants to be known. He has lived his life behind the cloak of mystery, and he doesn't even name. Okay. But let me finish the interview. Sorry. But as I was saying, that you don't see no charges on Demetrius. You don't see no charges on Demetrius. Why not? Because there's some fishy stuff going on, y'all. I'm eating carrots. Sorry, eating carrots. There's some fishy stuff going on. That's why. There's always been a plot. There's always been a plot to come after that man. Okay.
Down here with a piano and a chitlin bucket, singing a McDonald's song, and I just came from McDonald's. They're gonna feel like I'm talking directly to them, and that's going to make the connection. So that's what I did. I went home. I said, Mom, I gotta write a McDonald's song. She said, well, you love McDonald's. You ought to be able to write a McDonald's song. That's your favorite restaurant. I said, that's what I'm gonna do. So I went in the room and I started messing with my little keyboard, Casio that is. And I said, McDonald's is the place for you. When your day is through, you can go to McDonald's and get yourself a Big Mac, a Big Mac. Order of fries, icy Coke with an apple pie. No one does it like McDonald's do. McDonald's and you. And the people would clap, and they would go in their pockets. Oh, I gotta pay this guy. This guy's too good. Oh man, I got McDonald's in my hand, and he's singing McDonald's. Oh no, he got to get paid. So people started pulling out 50s. I went from making maybe $10 a day, from being there from 9 to 5, to making $400 to $500 a day because I made the connection. Now that I know how to make the connection, I took it to the next level. I hitchhiked all the way to LA, even on a motorcycle. Yeah, man, back on some guy's motorcycle. 18-wheeler truck, broken down van, got me to LA, where I lived on Venice Beach for like 6 months. I'm talking about the sand part. Yeah, I lived on the sand part of Venice Beach. There was a bleacher and there was a basketball court. And I would sleep under the bleacher, and I would wake up and I would play basketball with the guys that played basketball. Oh, and I would be killing them. They'd be like, where did this guy come from? He's here every morning playing basketball with us. And It was interesting because I would play basketball, and then I would go and I would street perform with this guy that skates with the good top on Venice Beach. Yeah. And it was amazing times, because those were the times when I was paying my dues. That's right, I was paying my dues. That's right, I was paying my dues. My dues. And sometimes you have to do that. You have to pay your dues. You cannot just wake up and be successful. There's no real success without testimony.
Hello, tell them.
The depth of your testimony determines the height of your success. It's not where you are today. It's not how successful you are today. It's what did you do? Where did you go? What did you go through? Where have you been to get to this point? That's the engine. I learned a long time ago, after performing on Venice Beach, after being a street performer in Chicago, I went to every talent show, trying to win, but I'd lose all the time, especially in LA, because at this time, LA was a place of image. You had to look to par, not just sound good. And all I had was basketball gear. And I would do really good in the talent shows, but my image, I looked like a hooper because I was at the time. So I'd lose. But don't feel for me, because, see, losing is only temporary. Losing, I looked at as a rehearsal. We all lose in rehearsal all the time, over and over and over and over again, until we get it right. And that's the point of rehearsal. You rehearse and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. You mess up, you mess up, you mess up until you get it right. But LA, street performing, the doors being closed, the no's and all of those things, that was my meal ticket somehow. And I decided then, I didn't want to be stars in the sky, because though they amazed us as kids, but they sat there. They just sat there. They sparked. But what amazed me, and what I've always wanted to study and always wanted to become, and I decided in my mind, and I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm going to be a shooting star. She said, what you mean, boy? I say, I don't really know what I mean, but I know one thing. I love the shooting star. Why would you love a shooting star? You don't get to see it much. I said, I know. It comes, it goes. You're lucky if you even see one. I said, I know. And it's not like the other stars. I said, I know. But that's the point. If I'm going to be a star, I want to be a shooting star. I don't want to be seen all the time. That's not what I'm about. I'm not about just sitting around in the sky.
You heard that, right?
Soaring through the sky.
You want to be a shooting star.
In and out of space. People would tell me, well, you could do that, sky's the limit. I say, no, it's not. I would always have my different sayings. I would say space is the limit. Because if you can make it to space, you can travel anywhere. And my brain and my mind, it just always wanted to go places no man has gone, so to speak. I always wanted to be a scientist of music, not just music. I wanted to experiment with my music. I wanted to do R&B, but I also wanted to do the world's greatest. But at the time, I was told, no, you stay in this lane, R&B artist, you're going to do the artist thing, you're an artist, R&B king, and this, that, and the other. I was never interested in being an R&B king. People put that label on me, and I appreciate
anybody for saying that I'm the best at something, but I never wanted to be the best at one thing. I never wanted to be the best at R&B. I just wanted to be great at music. So I decided to do I Believe I Can Fly. I decided to go on and do the world's greatest. I decided to do country songs, pop songs, You Are Not Alone for Michael Jackson, because I never wanted to be trapped in a category. And somebody said, oh, that's the R&B king. I wanted to be known for just music. There's Mr. Music. He has no lane. The highway, the streets is his, if he wanted it to be. But I came up in Chicago, and the minute I was born is the minute my father left my mother. Yes, the minute I was born is the minute my father left my mother. And I used to ask my mother, where is my father? And every time she shunned the question, she pushed me away. She said, never ask me that again. Son, never ask me that again. But it was hard because I would always see, my brothers, their father would come by every now and then and, take them out, buy them things. And Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, Halloween. And I wasn't jealous of my brothers, but I would always, become curious and frustrated because, wanting a father, not having a father, first of all, it's automatically something missing in your life. There's no doubt about that. I always felt half. I always felt a hole in the situation. Though my mother was a mother, father, brother, sister, best friend, and everything to me, she never was really a father. My sister's father would come by every now and then, but I never understood why my father was not with my mother. That was just something as a child I didn't understand. And it would hurt so damn bad. It would hurt so damn bad. And me being 8 years old.
You heard that? 8 years old. You see the story changes? I know T girl, he said 11, and here he says 8. So you see there's a change in. Sometimes when you go through trauma, you don't remember exactly. You remember the situation you're in, you remember this incident, but you can't remember dates half of the time. Okay?
I would be so damn sad. But as I got older,
Hey, Paula. Happy holidays to you too. All right, so you see there's in the book, he says 11, 12. In the song that he's singing right now, he says 8.
old, I became closer to my mom. Me and my mom would go to McDonald's before she go to work, before I go to school, and she would get us a Danish. It's all we could afford is a Danish and a cup of coffee. And we would split the Danish and cup of coffee. She wore this cheap lipstick. And she would put 3 creams and 6 sugars in the coffee. And she would stir it up. She would open the Danish, split it with a little plastic white knife. She had this cheap lipstick, and she would taste the coffee to make sure it was sweet enough. And she'd leave the ring of lipstick on the coffee from which she tasted the coffee. And I remember when she would give me mine, when I would sip from the cup, I would turn it around and I would drink from her lipstick part, because in a son mother way, I had a serious crush on my mom because she could sing her butt off. And I just looked up and down to her. I looked around. I looked everything about my mother. You know, I loved her. And I even asked her to marry me one day. I was like, nah. She said no. But you know what? I understood. I took it well. And so when my mom passed, I was coming from my first concert from overseas, in which I wanted her to go with me because that was the only way I was going to get on the plane. So when I got back from overseas and my mom passed the day.
Pretty Pink, what is T Girls asking? Why don't you ask Sylvia if he met them? She will say something. She will say the same thing. What is T Girls asking? Hold on. Where's T Girl? He said he asked her more than once, and last time he asked, stopped asking. That's not what the book said. The song says that. He says different things in different ones. What is she asking? Pretty Girl, what did she just ask? Pretty Pink, what did she just ask? Sometime you block out pain in their mind, correct? Yeah, it does change. That's right. What is T Girl asking? Pretty Pink. They first came out back in 2019. They said they never met him face to face. They did meet him in you talking about the sisters? They did meet him. They met him at court on the 26th of June. They met him. And then I'm at court, and then Cassandra was with them at the gym, and I know they went and sat down after court before they came to the gym. They met him. Yep, they surely did. Yeah, he met the sisters. I was there when he met him. I was there when Cassandra talked to him because she was telling him that she was, I think, getting married or something like that in June or something, I can't remember exactly what it was. And he said he would, he wished he would, but couldn't get out the state of Illinois because he was restricted from traveling at the time. And I remember he kept calling her his sis. He did. He met him. And I was there. I'm an eyewitness. I saw him with my 4 eyes. I'm talking about 2019. Then they first. Okay, so I'm T Girl. I'm confused with it. What we talking about? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Yeah, perspective me. They did. Stop laughing, Miranda. Miranda's laughing at me, y'all. I think because I said 4 eyes. Yeah, I was wearing my glasses. I wear my glasses all the time now. They said they have some eye drop for those who have eye problems since they've gotten older. I'm probably be one of the first one to use those eye drop because I want to be able to see. All right, I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna go ahead on. Anybody have any questions before I start playing it again? She said before 19 them. Well, according to them, according to Cassandra, when I would talk to Cassandra, he gave him the story and told him stuff supposedly he would know and refer to father's family. He knows who his father is. Oh yeah, he definitely. I got that information from Bruce. Bruce and Carrie said, well, Bruce at the time at the conference, I talked to Bruce. And he told me at the time that Rob knew his father, who his father is, and that he talked to his father. I mean, as far as like him having like chummy relationship, I don't think they ever had that. I don't think they ever had that chummy relationship. But he knew his father. In fact, it's my understanding, based on when I spoke to Bruce, So my understanding is that his dad called him a few times, and they actually met in person. It's my understanding, if I could recall it correctly, it was back in October 2020 that when I talked to Bruce about it. I mean, I hadn't talked to Bruce recently about it, but he told me at the time when I was standing out there at the conference, he told me then that Rob had talked to his father. In fact, there's no relationship with the father, but he knows. Yeah, he knows who his father is. Yep, you're right, Queen Diva. He does. That's what I was told by Bruce as well as Carrie. That's Bruce as well as Carrie. The sister said they had been with the family reunions. Yeah, that's what I was told too by the sisters, that they thought they were cousins. But when I think their father was sick, or their father had passed away, someone else from the family told them that they were his brother, that he was their brother. That's what I was told. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's what I was told, because they used to go to the family reunion, and they would bring him. In fact, there were in fact, I remember when we were at, I'm not even going to talk about that guy. Let me not bring that guy name involved in it, because I don't want to talk about that big guy. I'm talking about the one who did the precedent. I don't want to talk about that guy. God truly has his hand on him. He truly is passionate about his music, and he will serve God. Amen. The sister said that they had been in family reunions as cousin. Yep, I heard that. This is when he was younger. But as far as any family reunion when they were older, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about him being at the family reunion since they were older. I don't know. I don't know anything about that part. All I know is what was said to me. And I know a lot of people are saying that why anybody's not saying anything about the sisters, because I was looking at somebody's live. I mean their YouTube commentary, and they were saying why nobody has said anything about the sisters. But here's a difference between the sisters and Levi's situation, is that Robert himself accepted them and say that that's their sister. That's his sister. As far as the DNA stuff like that, I'm not aware of any DNA being done or anything like that. But he himself said he has accepted them, and he himself has been in contact with them. That's a known fact. I know that for a fact. But as far as Levi himself, I have never seen Levi at any court. I have never, and I've seen the sisters at court several times. Several times I've seen the sisters in court. In fact, they were there when he was out of jail, and when they were there when he went into jail. So it wasn't something that they just happened and they never come back, but they happened. They have been when Robert, because I would tell them when the court dates and stuff would be, when somebody didn't reach out to them, and they were there. They were there a couple of times, not just once, a couple of times. And Levi has never, ever, ever been to court. And I can tell you that, because the only court session I did not go to was the child support one. I didn't go to that one, but all the other ones I've been to. When no one else was there, I was there. Even there was one time he was supposed to have court. You asked Bostic Mom about it. He was supposed to have court in December one time, and I was there. They didn't even have court, so her and I stood out. We went out to lunch and stuff like that. Hung out with her until I went back and got my flight and gone back. But Levi has never been to court. Never. Never, ever, 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 ever been to court. Nope. Nope, he hasn't. Because it was one time we even asked, he had called me and Shantae at the time. He was on the phone, but he never came to court. So Pretty Pink. Pretty Pink. Oh my God, Pretty Pink. You try to get somebody in trouble up in here. But here's the thing. Truth is truth. I mean, here's truth is truth. Okay, let me play it. Hold on. Let me play this interview. And I could tell you. Hold on a second. Hold on.
I got back 3 weeks later. I went away. She was heavy set. She was my mom. I come back. She was very, 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 very skinny. I had no idea she had cancer. I had no idea she was even sick. I went straight to Roseland Hospital on 111th in Chicago. And my sister and brother, I remember them to this day. Said, Mom's very sick. You might not want to go in there, Rob. Of course, you're thinking cold, you're thinking pneumonia, you're thinking she's going to be okay. So I go in the room, I peek my head in, see the pastor with my mother, I see the doctors. And the first thing my mom said is, she screamed, "Get out, Robert. I don't want you to see me like this. Get out, Robert. I don't want you to see me like this."
See you later, Janice. Hey, Tim.
All I can say is, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I didn't know what else to say. Didn't even look like my mother, but I knew it's my mother. I walked up to her bedside. I asked the doctor and the pastor to excuse us. Even my brothers and them, they excused us. It was me and my mom. She said, "Please leave. Please." I said, "Mama, please don't make me leave. Something I gotta tell you." I said, "First of all, I love you and I thank you for everything you have done. Everything. Everything you've done for me, Mom. And I'm sorry for every time I've been bad or did something I wasn't supposed to do. And I promise you." And she died right there on the "I promise you." I called the doctor. They came in. They pronounced her dead. I was still holding her hand. But I finished my sentence. I said, "I promise you, Mama, no matter what, by any means necessary, I will be one of the best singers, songwriters this world has ever seen." I made my mom that promise, and I'm still on a journey today to fulfill that promise, in which I will perform and sing and write like one of the best who has ever done it. I owe it to my mom. I owe it to my gift. More than anything now, I owe it to my fans. Just to be one of the best. Not the best, but one of the best who has ever done it. It's going to be a little turbulence teacher, mentor, pastor, and I like to call her my Mrs. Miyagi, my music teacher, Lena McLean. She say, do not write songs, write life. Sex is life. So don't judge me. Don't be mad at me if I make a gospel album. That's life. Don't go hating and spreading rumors on me because I made a club banger that says, you may be used to me spending and all that sweet whining and dining. Well, I'm fucking you tonight. No, don't judge me. Because I don't judge nobody when I go and see a good movie and somebody get their head blown off. I just enjoy the movie and I appreciate the movie. I appreciate the writing. I appreciate how they told the story. I don't get into, oh man, they got all these guns and they shooting kids and they shooting these people. So don't get mad at me if I write a song, say you remind me of my Jeep. It's just metaphors. It's just entertainment. It's the gift. No different than Bruce Lee. It's a gift. Bruce Lee was Ali. Ali was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was Superman. Superman was Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was Batman. Batman was Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was Moses. There's certain people, certain images that come to entertain us, to take us through.
Okay, okay. You guys are talking about the father. What are you saying? Sylvia, yeah, I've been okay, Tim. Okay, y'all still talking about the dad thing. Hold on a second. Let me go back up to look at what T Girl said. Pretty Pink. As far as we know, okay, let me go back up because I don't know what you're talking about. Let me go back up. T Girl said, well, Bruce said on Choke Channel that Rob didn't know his father, that some guy called him in 90s claiming to be his father, but Rob yelled at him, whoever it was on the phone, and hung up. Too many stories. That's not what he told me. That's not what Bruce said. Bruce said he knows his father. He said he knows his father. I don't know what he said to me. He knows who his father is. That's what he said to me. I'm just going by what the people said to me. So I can't validate anything. I don't know. All I know is what they said. Okay. Maybe that's why he had the ladies call him daddy, because it took care of daddy, so-called girl, some making special days. Yeah, that's true. I don't know how true that can be, because according to some family members, they said no interaction with the father's side. And he says, what's the difference? We can't go by Bruce because it seems as he had too many different stories. Levi does things to hurt him too, working with the government. True, girl. Levi's using his name and pain to raise money for his benefit. Sisters have not hurt him as far as we know. Hey, Stephanie. Okay, Pretty Pink. Okay. Gotta go. Continue to pray for RSK. Okay, bye, Janice. All right, Tim. Okay, I don't sugarcoat. Truth is important. Yep. Pretty Pink. As far as we know, all right, Robert never lied. Stephanie Luke said he's heard him. I'm a nurse working in hospice. Research states hearing in the last to go. Okay. Never. Okay. I don't see why he would lie about his father, but be honest about everything else. Well, let me see. Remember, his mom told him not to say anything else about it. So maybe that's why he's not really giving clear answers to that. Maybe that's what it is. Because his mom did tell him not to say nothing else about it. And he promised his mom he wouldn't say anything. Maybe that's why everybody's so confused with what's happening. Maybe. I don't know. It says Pretty Pink. They haven't heard him, but I'm going to need to get them to get more versed in the case him if they are trying to talk to him. Okay, Vet said, I feel like Rob always kept things real and his fans. He never lied. He never claimed to be someone that he wasn't. He always kept it 100 with us. I respect him for that. Then Queen Diva, I totally agree. Queen Diva says, T-Girl, maybe he doesn't want that man to have any shine out of sight, out of mind. It happens, but he's not the only one who has done it. That's true. What am I doing? I am okay, Tim. Okay, it says, all his freakiness songs are my favorite. Bet, shame on you. Yes, ma'am, bet. Okay. I never heard his Bruce Lee scream. T-Girl says, at Whitney Houston's brother who changed name to Houston totally negotiated his father who he knew and went all his life as a Garland. And I have all his album besides the one Jay-Z. At Miss Vet, exactly. That's why they're saying doesn't make sense. That's not what he said on Choke either. He said his father called him, and Rob said where's my big, yeah, he did say that. Where's my big wheel? You know what? Let's go play that part. Hold on. Let's go play the part where Bruce is on, so then we'll squash all the confusion on here. Hold on. Let's go to Choke. Choke, I'm going to use your content. If you're in the bushes, I'm going to use your content. Hold on. Let's do this. Choke, no joke. This content belongs to Choke, no joke. Somebody put in my disclaimer. This is used for entertainment purposes, for criticism, and according to 107, fair accurate. Okay, let me go put this up on my screen because I don't want nobody. All right, hold on. All right. Copyright disclaimer. Under the Section 107 of Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for the purpose of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Okay. That's what we're doing. We're trying to comment about this. We're trying to figure out what the heck is being said. Okay, Choke. Gonna do this. Hold on. Then I'll go back to playing it. Choke, no joke. I'm gonna go to call me. If you need someone to talk to, call me. Satisfaction guarantee. Call me. If you need someone to talk to. I'm alive. Okay, where's Bruce? Bruce, where are you? Okay, here we go, Bruce.
What I'm saying to Brother Bruce is this. As you know, Bruce, I myself, you, and several others have been the subject.
That's not the one. That's not the one I'm looking for. Hold on. I'm looking for when he is actually talking about. Okay, there we go.
Man, did you know that a dude got Robert's his master's? Do you know that? No, I didn't know. No, I didn't know nothing like that. I could see where that would be relevant, but you know, back then
you know, you got a lot of different moving parts, man. When he was driving a goddamn Camry, a Toyota Camry. Then
My question to you is that how I see it after I look at all the pieces of the puzzle. Do you know who Cheryl Mack is?
Cheryl Mack, yeah, I know on it. Just like one of them sisters gonna call me DM me telling me she think that it's time for us to meet. What the fuck for? What's important to meet you for? You know, and this is the dumbest shit I ever heard. Y'all last name Kelly. My mama's last name is Kelly. Your dad's last name is Kelly. You mean to tell me that's just a coincidence? They was not married. So you know, explain that to me in layman's terms.
So you saying that your mother's maiden name is Kelly? She never even been married.
She married. She ended up getting married to our stepdad that we have always considered our dad because he's really the only dad that we've ever known. Right. I mean, Dad used to come around from time to time, but that wasn't really enough. Every 6 months or so, you know, that wasn't enough for me to really get attached to him as our dad. Our stepdad was there every day of the week. He chastised us if we did wrong. I know for a fact my mother loved him and he loved my mother. I've seen that on a day-to-day basis. So I can say Lucius was our dad, and I know Robert can say the same thing. But you know, always that in the back of your mind, who was my real dad? You know,
right?
Happened. I remember one Christmas, his dad managed to get his phone number. This is when Robert was staying up north on Green Street. His dad called his house, told him, "Yeah, I'm your dad. I got a lot of pictures of me and your mom and this and that and this and all this and stuff." And Robert's question to him was, "Really? You my dad?" He said, "Where's my big wheel at? Where's my bike at? Where's my birthday cakes and candles and shit?" You know, that's what he wanted to know. Right. And he asked him, "Please don't call my house again. Because I don't need you now. I'm a grown man now. But now you want to try to implicate yourself in my life. I don't need you." And I think I would have did the same thing, bro.
How old was he at that time?
I really do.
How old was he at that time?
Shit, Robert was shit. He's about 24 then. He's about 24, 25. Yeah.
And that was his first time hearing from his father since?
That was the first time and the last time. I gave it back. Yeah. That was the first and the last time, man.
Yeah. So
and Robert didn't.
And Robert?
He didn't want to hear from him no more. Period.
Okay, y'all. There goes the answer. T-Girl, did you hear it? Did you hear the answer on that one? Let me rewind it. T-Girl, did you hear it? What he said? He didn't say that wasn't his father. He said he didn't want to talk to him because he asked him where was his bike, where was his what was he said? Hold on, let me go back. But he did talk to his father. He just didn't want to talk to him. I mean, you know, he's angry. He all those years of him, his brothers and sisters. Oh, I got Dom, you are so late. Why do you always come in here late and then don't know what the Kool-Aid is, what flavor it is, and then try to talk? I've been talking about that. Oh my God. Y'all, look what he's asking me to do. Look what he asking me to do, y'all. Look what he asking me. Look what he asking me. What have I been doing, y'all? What have I been doing? Playing a GQ interview. Look at him. Just sit and listen, sir. He does that every single time. I'm playing the interview already, dog. LCC. He does that to me every single time. He comes in late and disrupts the whole class. He comes and disrupts the whole class. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. They ain't talking about my fault. They go, look. He said, my fault. He comes in every single time, coming to class late. Then he's gonna go into detention, y'all. All right, let me all right, where's T Girl? T Girl, did you hear it? Where'd she go? Where's T Girl? T Girl, are you here? Where are you? He does that. He does that every single time, y'all. He'll come in late and disrupt the whole classroom. We all got to go stop and go back and pay attention to him. Instead of him coming through the classroom with one finger up and then go to his seat, no. He going to get up in the front of the class and say, hey, y'all, what we doing now? Okay, let me stop. I'm only kidding. Welcome, Tom. Where T Girl? T Girl left? Did T Girl leave? He said I could do that. Where did she go? Where's T Girl go? So I'm gonna put it back again. Hold on and play it back. But I think he's just keeping a promise to his mom about not discussing it. And I think that's why we have questions about it. He probably just chose not to talk about it because his mom promised his mom he was not going to ask about him anymore, right? And so maybe that's the reason why he doesn't talk about it too much. But you heard Bruce. Bruce said he was already 24 years old when his father contacted him. And his mom was alive at that time, wasn't she? His mom died when he was, 25? She died in 93? How old was he in 93? He had to be 24, 25. He had to, because he married, they claim he married Aaliyah when he was 27. That was 1994. His mom died in 1993. So he was alive. Did you get a chance to hear it, T Girl? You want me to play it again? But so that means he was alive when the man called him. His mom was alive when that man called him. Hey, Dream. Is that Dream? Dream, why your thing backwards? So his mom was still alive when his dad contacted him. And so he contacted him when he was 24. So that's about 1991. 91. How old was I? Okay, 85. I was 18. 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Yeah. 90. 85, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, 92. 92. That's 92, y'all. The father contacted in 92. The mom died in 93. Right? Mom died in 93. August of 93. He was 26. Okay. When his mom died, he was 9. So then he was 24, the brother said. The mom may have given the number. Yeah, she might have did that once before she passed away. Because sometimes people try to get things right before they die, and maybe the mom might have gave him the number, to ease her conscience. Because people do a lot of things right before they die. Get things right before God. So you said the mother may have given the number. I believe she probably did. And by that time, it was a little too late. Rob was like, I don't want to talk to him. I don't care about him. He didn't get, where was he when this? It's a lot of hurt. It makes a lot of sense now. Yep, it does, Queen Diva. It does make a lot of sense. Let me play this. Okay. T-Girl, did you get it now? He's at 24. Okay, T-Girl, I'm lost. What are you saying? You said 26. His mom died when he was 26. That's what you're trying to say, right, T-Girl? His mom died when he was 26, but his dad called when he was 24. So that's 2 years difference. And she probably knew she had cancer around that time. I'm just speculating right now, so I don't know what the facts. But people do a lot of things to get things right. Into 1993. Oh, you saying he was 26. So the dad called him 2 years before that. So in 1991, the dad talked to him. Mama tried to clean up a mess and Robert was not here for. Okay. We're not here for. Yep. That's probably. Yep. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Because he was like, hey, it's just like when the father comes up when the kid is all in and a football player and all that else, and they come up and they're like, where were you when I needed you? Where were you now that I made it? Yeah, I've heard that a lot from a lot of kids. A lot. Mm-hmm. And you ever notice how that absent parent is always the one gloating how wonderful the kid did when they didn't have anything to do with it, right? No, he was 26 when she passed away, 1993. Sil, did you know Kels has an unreleased song? Bootsy, they talked about it. Mm-hmm. I heard Bootsy talking about it. Okay, there we go. Dom, stop texting me, dude. I'm not going anywhere. Look, no, Dom, no. We're going to stick to what I'm doing over here. Lord have mercy. All right, let me finish playing Bruce.
Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
Right, bro. I get to the nitty gritty, like my mother used to say, get to the nitty gritty of shit. And you cut out a whole bunch of bullshit. Because all this, trying to explain this and this and that, and you evading the question, that don't work with me. You got to come with the real with me. Because all that other shit that you're trying to put in, that don't mesmerize me in no way, form, or fashion. What's his dad's name? You got to go to all this rigmarole and all this old shit like this. I'm not trying to hear all that shit. Because I'm really fed up with all these people, man. I never seen a media circus like I've been seeing since I got out of prison, man. I could not believe what the fuck I was seeing on the internet. Relatives coming out the fucking woodwork. Like, who the fuck is these people? People contacted me via my Facebook page. Is this Levi guy really your cousin? Hell no. Not just no, but hell to the no. Like I said, I've been working with Robert since 1990. That's just on when he got signed, but way before then. We've been in bands with our mama, with ourselves, doing shows all over Chicago and all this. And Levi never ever came up. So, not until Rob got into this melee And this jam did all these other entities of family members start, coming aboard. And see, it's easy for them to make fans out there that's on YouTube believe some shit because they might know a little something. Because you do got a lot of male groupies out there that follow Rob, just like women do. They know about him. They can tell people a little something about him or whatever. But anybody can do that. Find out his background and be able to tell a little something here, a little something there. But when it comes down to authenticity, it's not there. And you can't sell me on it. Just like one of them sisters gonna call me, DM me, telling me she think that it's time for us to meet. What the fuck for? What's important to meet you for? And this is the dumbest shit I ever heard. Y'all last name Kelly. My mama's last name is Kelly. Your dad's last name is Kelly. You mean to tell me that's just a coincidence? They was not married. So explain that to me in layman's terms.
So you saying that your mother's maiden name is Kelly? She never even been married.
She married. She ended up getting married to our stepdad that we have always considered our dad because he's really the only dad that we've ever known. Right. I mean, dad used to come around from time to time, but that wasn't really enough. Every 6 months or so, that wasn't enough for me to really get attached to him as our dad. Our stepdad was there every day of the week. He chastised us if we did wrong. I know for a fact my mother loved him and he loved my mother. I've seen that on a day-to-day basis. So I can say Lucius was our dad, and I know Robert can say the same thing. But always that in the back of your mind, who was my real dad?
Right.
Happened. I remember one Christmas, his dad managed to get his phone number. This is when Robert was staying up north on Green Street. His dad called his house, told him, "Yeah, I'm your dad. I got a lot of pictures of me and your mom and this and that and this and all this and stuff." And Robert's question to him was, "Really? You my dad?" He said, "Where's my big wheel at? Where's my bike at? Where's my birthday cakes and candles and shit?" That's what he wanted to know. Right. And he asked him, "Please don't call my house again. Because I don't need you now. I'm a grown man now. But now you want to try to implicate yourself in my life. I don't need you." And I think I would have did the same thing, bro.
How old was he at that time?
I really do.
How old was he at that time?
Shit, Robert was shit. He's about 24 then. He's about 24, 25. Yeah.
And that was his first time hearing from his father since?
That was the first time and the last time. I gave it back. Yeah. That was the first and the last time, man.
Yeah. So
and Robert didn't.
And Robert?
He didn't want to hear from him no more. Period. And I can't say that I blame him, man. Why you want to contact him now? You had all these years to contact him to set some things straight, but you never did. Now Rob has any and everything that he could ever need in life. And now here you come, you want to appear talking about, "Yeah, I'm good old dad." Well, whoop-de-fucking-do. On the real, bro, I'm just keeping it 100, man.
I feel you. Yeah,
there's so many things that... Go ahead.
Where I was going, Yeah, Levi said he be here in 5 minutes.
He never
But
came.
like I said, this thing started. I spoke on the verdict, and then from the verdict, I went to talking to Levi, and then from him, I started speaking to Angelo. I did an interview with Angelo, and then everything spiraled from Levi and Angelo. So,
Okay, T-Girl said he was saying it's a coincidence that Levi's dad had the same as their mother. Levi's? Huh? T-Girl, I think you got it mixed up. He didn't say anything about Levi's dad. He never said anything about Levi's dad. Wow. He was saying coincidentally that Levi's dad had the same as their mother's. Levi was saying he's related to him through his father. Like I said, he never met the guy face to face. What? We didn't say he met him face to face. We said he knows his father. He knows who his father is. He knows the name of his father. T-Girl, my Lord. T-Girl, what are you talking about? Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus. T-Girl. Oh, Lord. I said he knows who his father is, meaning the name of his father. He knows his father's name. We never said he actually met his father. We said he knows his father. T-Girl, no. When Levi said when he first came out that his mother and Rob's mother were sisters. Yeah, he did. He did say that. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did say that. He said he did say that there were two sisters. Yep. But you know what they could do? Queen Diva sure did. Now it's the father. Yeah, he did say the mother. He did. I remember that. In fact, there is a I gotta find it. Hold on, I think I may find it. Hold on a second. All right, let me finish this interview while I look for this other stuff on my other phone. Hold on.
History and all through genres and decades and years of struggle, but inspiring us to be successful at the same time. That's all I want to be. Don't hit me. I'm an artist, people. And artists are going to go through depths. Chosen artists. I decided not to climb the mountain first. I decided to learn how to hold my balance. That's the struggle. Once I struggle and learn how to hold my balance, then I can start my climb. Because why? The mountain is a peak at the top. It's very windy. You can get blown off just like that. That's why I decided to hold my balance, learn to hold my balance first. because I don't want to stop my climb and get up there and the easiest thing blow me off. I want to be able to hold my balance and hold my balance strong. I want to be able to stand at the top of that mountain and say, I'm not coming down until I feel like it. I earned that right because I worked my ass off trying to hold my balance. Yeah, that's right. I'm proud of me. I don't have pride. I'm just proud of me. And I suggest, no, I urge you to do the same, to think the same, feel the same, be the same. Learn how to hold your balance before you start climbing that mountain, because that's how one-hit wonders happen. Everybody's so anxious to climb the mountain and knock other people down trying to get there. And when they get to the top, they start developing a pride and an ego. And out of nowhere, whatever happened to us? What's that guy named? He was out, he had that one song. He didn't learn how to hold his balance before he started his climb. That's why I'm still here. That's why I'm still in the game. Because to me, it is not a game. People say this, people say that. They talk about me behind my back. They talk about me in front of my face. They talk about me at the side. I can hear the whispers. I can see the gestures. I can feel the spirit of negativity all around me. People steal my watches. They steal my cars. They steal my gold. They steal everything from me. They take my money. But I wouldn't change a thing. Because I'm not in it for money. I'm not in it for watches. I'm not in it for jewelry. I'm not in it for women. I'm not in it for cars and clothes and houses. And this is just something I was born to do. And I will be doing it until Jesus come back. I love music. I'm pregnant by it. I'm having applets. Yeah. And I'm going to love my babies. I'm going to raise them. I'm going to burp them. They're going to poop. All those things. Out melodies. Born in the ghetto. Riding my bike, 14 years old. My mom said, you can go 2 blocks and come back. I said, okay, mama, 2 blocks and back. Okay, mama, 2 blocks and back. I promise 2 blocks and back. Then I get on my little Huffy. Do like this, because I used to do this. Because I used to want to think it was a motorcycle. And I say, brum, 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 brum. And I started paddling my bike. Thought I was the coolest guy in the world. Pow! I heard a gunshot. I looked to my right, I looked to my left, I looked behind me. I didn't know what happened. And out of nowhere, I started feeling woozy. Got really dizzy. I started feeling myself. And then I felt, and I did this, my hand was full of blood. And I looked. My arm was swole up, so big, like a kneecap was on my arm right here. And I fell and hit the ground off my bike. And I remember opening my eyes just a little bit. I saw all of these guys running towards me. And I said to myself, thank you, help, help. But actually it was the guys that shot me. They were taking my bike. laid there. I could hear people screaming. I could hear people coming. Next thing you know, I remember waking up in the hospital, and I remember the doctor telling my mother that they couldn't move the bullet out of my arm. It's going to grow a tissue around it because it's too close to a nerve. And if they touch that nerve, it could paralyze my whole arm or the right side of my body. Oh, don't y'all touch me. I have a career. Yeah, I know I'm 14, 13, but I'm going to be somebody. And I can't do that being paralyzed. I said, Mama, please don't let them cut me, Mama. She said, don't worry about it, baby. They're not going to touch you. It's going to be all right. You're going to be all right. At the time, I really loved basketball. I thought I'd never shoot the ball again. But I developed a shot. It was funny because the bullet was in my arm, and every time I shoot a ball or lift my arm, I feel that bullet. That bullet, I decided, was going to be the constant reminder of the terrible luck I had coming up as a kid, or it was going to be a wonderful reminder of how lucky and how blessed I am to be here today. And of course, I chose the second one. Are you kidding me? Look at me. Look what I've been through. Look how many people I Believe I Can Fly has been able to touch from here to Africa and everywhere around the world. Kids graduating to it. People feeling like they can walk out of the hospital and they feel better. They don't even have to know who wrote the song. It's people that love the song and don't even identify me with the song. I'm good with that. Because that song was not about me. That song was a seed planted in the earth for people to grow and blossom and go on and live their dreams like I've been blessed and able to do mine. Coming up in the hood, my mother and my stepfather fought like cats and dogs. I hated it. But somehow, the love she had for him, I chose to love him too. Where my brothers and them, whole nother story. My sister, they hated him. I found a way to love him because my mom loved him. Coming up in the hood, I don't even know how I got here. I don't even know. I don't know what these cameras are about. I don't know magazines and photo shoots and videos and award shows and Grammys, and it's all still so surreal to me because my past is so strongly embedded in my head, and I don't know how I looked past all of that and made it to where I am today, but I'm thankful that I did. I'm thankful because I want somebody else out there to say, wow, he did it. I can do it. All you have to do is believe. All you have to do is have faith. All you have to do is see what it is you want and become very stubborn and become very determined. Nobody's going to tell you that success ain't mine. That basketball scholarship, that trophy, that championship game, that ring, that football touchdown, that isn't mine. And now that I got the ball right, life passed me the ball. I got it. I caught it. I'm running. If I stop, I'm going to get tackled by a whole lot of people. So I stay running. I stay running. From now on, I'm gonna be on the bright side of things. No more, I can't do it. It's my life. I'm gonna live it. And maybe I'll succeed. What a wonderful thing to get up out this hood would be. And maybe times will change. And someday the world, they would know
My name.
Robert's name.
Well, messed up. All right. That was the GQ interview. Hold on. Don just sent me something else. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. This is a 1998 interview that Rob did. Hold on.
I'd love to know your very first childhood memory musically. What's your very first musical childhood memory?
Musical what?
Childhood memory.
Oh, musical childhood memory. I can remember slowing up the record to get. Oh, I bet you if someone approached you yesterday to tell you that you would be jamming, you would not believe it because you never thought that you would be jamming. That's by Stevie Wonder. I remember slowing that up just to get that because I couldn't understand what he was saying. And I was so interested to hear what he was saying so I could learn it. And that was like one of the hardest things I heard Stevie Wonder do. So I wanted to get that. So I remember that I was about, I guess, 12, 13.
That's very funny you said that. I did the same thing.
Yeah. Did you get it?
I did exactly. I didn't get every single word, but I did
forget
exactly the same. Yeah, it was brilliant. Genius.
I used to do that too.
That's just an aside, to
Well,
be
I'm
honest.
not
I did that. I want to know what the first instrument you ever picked up was, and the first instrument you ever had an affinity with.
The guitar. My mom bought me a guitar, my brother a bass guitar, and my other brother a drum set. And mine was like the lead guitar. That was the first instrument.
And what's the first thing you ever composed on that guitar?
A song that just a musical thing. Doom, 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 doom. That's all I knew.
You didn't put lyrics to that?
No, I couldn't put the lyrics. I wasn't in a writing situation then. I didn't know how to write a song, but musically.
You said your mum bought you the guitar. Did you come from a musical family?
Oh, yeah. My mom sang, and my sister sang, and of course, like my brother played bass, and my other brother played drums.
It seemed as if, black kids, working class backgrounds, music was such an important part of life, especially in the 70s and 80s. It was just such a, everybody I've spoken to seems to say if it was either church, it was either music always playing in the house, or somebody in my family was musical. Did you find that amongst your peers at that time?
Yeah, I found the same thing around the 70s, especially around 74. It was all love. It was like music was more effective. If you hear a love song come out, or about the Isleys or anyone like that, or Marvin Gaye, it would make you want to make love, or make you want to love, or come closer to your family or your woman or your wife. It was definitely more effective back then.
Because obviously now with rap music being so dominant, especially through the 80s, you don't get that sense that is going on as much. There's kind of more of an angst and a kind of anger out there. So did that, doing music for someone like myself was seen as, no, you don't want to do music. That's like dancing,
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So having that background of your family behind you, and I know about your school, and I know about a certain lady that I'd like you to tell us about, who inspired you and encouraged you to do your music. Can you tell us a bit about her?
Well, that's Lena McGlynn, like my second mother, and she's a pastor and everything. My music teacher in high school. In high school, my freshman year, I was starting on Kenwood's basketball team, which is the name of my high school. And but I happened to have a music class. At that point in time, I think I was about 16, 17. I was not interested in music. I was really trying to be the next Michael Jordan, of course. And she told me that I would sing, I would be the next Stevie Wonder or superstar, Michael Jackson or something like that. And I laughed at her like she was crazy. I couldn't see it. And everything I am today, she could see it. My mother could see it. And she would tell me that I was going to be where I'm at today and even further. So, and it just happened. She put me in a talent show, and I did the talent show, and the girls were screaming and everything. And I was like, man, I don't get this kind of love on the court, And of course, I'm going to choose that over basketball, and I did. And I've been doing it ever since.
So what would you say that was your big break, or was there a stage a little further down the line that was the significant break for your music?
I would say my big break is that point in time I learned that Stevie Wonder riff. That was one of the steps, because I felt like, man, if I learned that, I could learn anything, because that guy was going pretty fast. But as far as crowd-wise and what nailed it, I would say my first talent show pretty much is what bit me in a way. Like Peter Parker got bit by the spider and became Spider-Man. That was the bite for me. When the women and everybody was showing me so much love at the talent show, and I won, and I was like, wow, it was overwhelming.
Can you relive that fear and energy that you had the first time you went on stage and had to actually compete to try and win, like a talent competition? Because that must be just for a young guy, really awesome experience.
Well, I had my eyes closed through the whole thing, so I just heard everything. The idea is, she put me in these black glasses and had a friend of mine walk me out on the stage like I was Stevie Wonder, and she had me sing "Ribbon in the Sky." And as soon as I started singing, the crowd started cheering and screaming, and all I can remember is ending it. And when I ended it, the people were standing up, they told me, because I kept my eyes closed until he walked me back off the stage. The best way to act blind is to close your eyes. So that's what I did.
Did you do that when you got signed to Jive? What happened there? Was that a song or some demos that you did, or?
Yeah, management. Actually, I had got into some situation with management that I was with before I even got signed with Jive, and I had a manager skip out of town with some money that we had won, from a talent show, and there was a lot of trouble with that. And the day I broke up with him was actually the day I was bumming a transfer trying to get a bus to get home. And I was walking down 79th, and I walked past the Regal Theater, and it said a gospel play was going on. And I went in there, and I asked the guy, I said, yo, man, any more auditions going on? He said, no, we just closed it up, man. I said, man, give me a chance, man. Let me do something. I'm on my last dime here, And they were like, well, that's it, man. So I started singing anyway. And I sang a song, Amazing Grace, and they introduced me to Barry Hankinson. I sang to Barry Hankinson, and he offered to put me in the play. And I said, that's great. That's great. And so as time went on, come to find out, he wanted me to, I told him that I could write. I didn't want to do the play. I want to write and do my own album. So once I showed him a couple of songs on the piano and a couple of demos, he's like, my God, you write. You can write. Let's take you to Jive Records. And that's what we did.
Do you want to sip your coffee?
I'm good.
You cool? Okay. Takes me to Born into the 90s, a phenomenal debut album. And something that didn't really tell us whether you were going to be a big balladeer or a club guy, because, you really came off big with She Got That Vibe. Mm-hmm. So Tell me, in hindsight now, looking back on that album, where'd you see your strengths and weaknesses? Did you use that album as a kind of tester for you, for what was to come?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did with the Born Into the 90s album. Once I found out I had an album deal and we were going to the studio to do an album, I was like searching. I was like, man, I got all of these melodies and songs in me. I don't know what to do first. And I just listened to the radio and just calmed down, listen to the radio and kind of, like the stocks, you see what's hot and what's not. And I saw the up tempos were in at that point in time. And so I went in and did She's Got That Vibe, which was the last song on the album. And did a couple of ballads just in case. I was pretty much searching at that point in time.
That's quite unusual that you're actually admitting that that you were aware that maybe I'm going to go that way, maybe I'm going to go that way. Some people just go, well, I wrote that from the heart and that's my first album. That's what I'm about. End of story.
Man, I didn't have a clue. I was like, I just wanted it to work. My hunger was there more than anything. And me being hungry, I'm always like that. I'm nervous. What will the people like? What are they feeling? I try to figure out what is the world feeling right now with my first two albums. That's how I was.
Well, let's talk about the second album because, in this day and age, and history always says the second album is the most difficult to grow from a first into a second album, develop as an artist. Are you pleased with the outcome of the second album, exactly the direction you took? I mean, has it all gone exactly how R. Kelly wanted it to go?
Yeah, the 12-play album. Really how that whole 12-play album came about is I was on tour with Gerald Levert. And we were opening up for him. We were the opening act, still trying to prove myself. So, and Gerald had all of the lights and the smoke and the fog and just the big production, and I was like, wow, I can't wait to get to that point. And I figured the only thing that was going to get me to that point, because I had like a flashlight and a mic, when I was opening up for Gerald. He wouldn't give me much, but but I said to myself, I have to do something out there on that stage that'll make people forget about the lights and the whole nine. I got to throw down, to get to the next level. I need to know how to perform without all of that. And that's when I came up with 12 Play. It was actually a song in my show. Had nothing to do with anything that was on my album. But I said, man, I'm going to put this 12 Play on my show. I'm going to write that song so those women can scream. Because I know if I count down from 12 to 1 or from 1 to 12, what I'm going to do to them, I know they're going to go crazy, because that's the way I feel, So that's what I did, and it worked. It worked tremendously for us, man. I mean, I finally hit something that I knew was an automatic gimmick in my show. And the women was on their feet. Everybody was barking and everything. So I said, man, I'm going to put this on my album, my next album, my second album. And then it ended up being the title of the album.
Well, from a UK perspective, your shows have always been, even the first tour was so well received. You were huge on the underground scene, particularly first in the UK. I'm sure you love the support you received over there.
Oh yeah, a lot of love. It was amazing. I can't explain the feeling over there, man. I mean, everybody was like, I felt like, man, what is this? Is Michael Jackson standing behind me? And when I turn around, he ain't there, That's how I felt because they were screaming. Some nights I didn't even know what they were screaming at, but they was telling me, man, they just love you, man. And that just really made me feel good and inspired me to go in and even come up with another album.
Okay, before we talk about that other tour, the second tour you did over there, let's talk about the tracks on 12 Play, because the first time I interviewed you, we talked about Your Body's Calling and Bump and Grind being almost like signature tunes for the 90s, like Marvin's Let's Get It On was in the 70s. And do you feel, I mean, at that point, after you were the She's Got That Vibe man almost, then you came with, the kind of more sexy angle, and you became a sex symbol. How did you cope with that? That whole instant, boom, your career escalated, and you're a sex symbol as well.
Well, I started saying things like, I can hear someone over there calling me. Oh, the crowd would just go crazy. Then I walk down there. I can hear someone over there calling me. oh, and they go crazy. This before body calling was even was born. You know, and little gimmicks like that, and ooh, na, 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 na. Crowd go, your body, na, na. And it was just amazing little gimmicks that I was doing on my show. I never thought that I would take it into the studio and say, okay, I'm gonna make a whole song out of your body's calling me. But that's how these songs came about. And as the more I started doing that, the more I started deciding, well, I'm just gonna start saying what I feel. Because I would always say on my stage, do you mind if I say what I feel right now? And they would love it. And then I say what I feel. See, I'm feeling kind of horny right now. And they would snap, you know. But that's what I would feel. And I'd say what I feel. People appreciate me keeping it real with them. And everybody wants to know what you really feel. You know, especially when you're known. They want to know what you're really thinking. So I was giving them what was on my mind and on my heart at that particular time.
You reckon you found your niche there, really? At that point, I mean, everybody, a lot of R&B artists were trying to do that kind of thing, but you kind of did it just that bit better.
Mm. Well, I think it's because after I started doing it, a lot of people would follow. If you don't mind, I mean, a lot of people would follow in a humble way. I say that, but you know, it's a difference when you mean it. You know, you do it. When I came up with it, it came out of me from my belly. And I did it because that's what I felt. And that's what was on my mind. A lot of other people, when they did it, they were inspired to do it. And it's a difference, you know, it's a difference in who created the light bulb and then who turned it on. It's a big difference.
People were doing it because they knew it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at Wembley Arena when you did that call and response thing. And you had like 10,000 people instantly giving you that vibe back. So that's a clue into also how you write some of your songs, because we're going to talk about this later about your songwriting and how you said you fed from the crowd and you went back to a studio and then you wrote a song from your experience at that moment there. Is that one of the key ways that you actually write your material?
Yeah, that's not for the most part, but I would say 30% of it, you know, is when I'm out there, you know, because I'm always throwing out. I'm very spontaneous on stage, and every night is something new. Every night I may say something that and it's a smash, and if it's a smash, I'm gonna keep it throughout the tour.
Okay, guys, I want to say those who wants to hear that book, I got it for you guys. We can do a behind the scene on my other channel and listen to it. Y'all want to do that? We can do that. That number 9 girl.
You know what I'm saying? Man, everybody goes crazy when I go, ooh, na, 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 what? Your body, na, 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 na. That was just something I tried on the show, and it was such a great response that I decided to do it in a song.
Where did you feel you were going to go from there? At that point, you came off the tour, you just had success with the album. Were you just excited about the future? Where did you think it was next? Or were you kind of nervous about, hang on, Bump and Grind was the biggest R&B record for 30 years on the R&B chart. And, you know, people are saying this is great. Where do I go from here?
Yeah, always nervous, man. I'm a nervous wreck. But it's an exciting type of nervousness. You know, I'm excited to do it again, but I'm nervous because I'm like, man, can I do it again? You know, I believe, but, you know, it's hard to sit in one room in Chicago in a studio and read the minds of millions, because that's what you're doing. You know, when you write any song, you know, you're writing it to put it out. But hopefully people will go and buy it. Hopefully people will love it. Hopefully people will come to the concerts because of what you thought in that little bitty room. And, you know, I'm trying to read the minds of millions, you know, because I want millions to pack in and millions to go buy the album and millions to love my music. So, you know, it's a pressure, man. It's a pressure, but I welcome it because, you know, I love pressure and I love my music. And I know if you love something you do, it's going to show.
We're talking about reaching millions of people and reaching millions of people also through the voices of other singers, which is something that you've proven that you can do as well. I mean, the mark of a truly great songwriter and musician is when they can work with somebody else or for somebody else. At that point, you became known as R. Kelly, the great songwriter as well, because you work with everybody that matters in R&B. Was that a way of you alleviating that whole pressure of just, it's me, I'm going to write a song for this person, that person, or did they just ask you and say, man, we need one of your songs for our album? Was it that whole era, that time there for you? Was that so exciting?
Yeah, it was very exciting because I love writing for other people. I love taking my music and transforming into that person that I'm working for. You know, for instance, Tony Braxton, I would give, I was just telling somebody this today, I would give Tony Braxton, I wouldn't give Tony Braxton a You Are Not Alone. And that's the exciting thing about my music. That's the exciting thing about, that's the most thing I love about my music, because when I get to write for people, I get to become them. And they don't understand how I do it, but I do. I understand that I totally submit to who they are, and I respect them so much. And then I'll just give them what I feel they would sing. You Are Not Alone. Tony Braxton could have never sung that song. It was just so perfect for Michael, I feel. And the same thing with anything else I've done for anyone. I try to write, I just try to pull out of them what I feel they should do.
But also, one of our favourite songs on the show last year was Get Out, Changing Faces.
Mm-hmm.
Such a, how can I put it, every woman who's ever been through anything like that totally understands that, and that the ability to, a woman would have had to have written that song, surely. You know, that's what's most impressive. How did you set about writing Get Out?
Well, I've sent a woman through that situation. I've sent a woman through that situation. I mean, some things you don't have. It doesn't have to be done to you, but it's some things that you can do to others, and that can inspire you also. And that particular thing I happen to do to a woman. I've sent enough women through enough problems in my past that I know what they're talking about, because they always screaming in my ear. They need to spend more time. They think I'm cheating around, which sometimes I was. I mean, sometimes, but I ain't gonna lie. That happened, and I'm human. That happened. I made bad mistakes. So, and through my music, it's my way of saying I'm sorry. It's my way of saying I'm trying to be better. It's my way of saying forgive me. It's my way of saying let's make love and just make up.
But the great thing about it is, if you're real out there and people are being honest, they can really relate to it. You've got a track on your new album, which I'm going to throw to, called One Man. Mm-hmm. I love that track because any guy who's been out with any girl who's been out with another guy can absolutely appreciate what you're saying in this track. Can you just talk us through this tune?
Well, One Man was something on this album that I put on there. It came to me. I said that I was going to let this album come to me, this particular album. I wasn't going to go searching for anything. I was going to let it come to me. And this One Man came to me. It was like my second song. Out of the 28 or 29 songs that's on this particular album, this was like the second song. And I wrote it from a situation that I had been through, of course, and situations that a lot of brothers had been through. I don't even remember, though. What's weird is I don't even remember how I came up with One Man, because the title is so far to the left, and how you would come up. When you say one man, people would not know what you mean. So I usually end up saying, well, one man can make one woman hate all men. Now, that's not a negative statement. It's just a true statement, and any woman that hears it be like, you ain't lying. You sure right about that. Y'all can make us just hate all of y'all. And I was basically saying, but don't give up on us. You know what I'm saying? Don't let what happened in your past mess up our future, because I've gotten with girls and I'll take them out to the show or something. They won't even let me open the door for them. I'm like, man, what are you so mad at? I'm a gentleman. I'd like to open the door for you. And that's okay. I got it. What are you mad at? Who's hurt you? Well, I was dealing with this other guy. That's not me. That's him. And I've been in enough situations like that where it's pretty much easy for me to come up with something like One Man.
Let's say One Man. It's for Radio 1. That's a great song. I love that song. I want to talk a bit more about the songwriting process again, because that was One Man from R. Kelly from his hot new album, R. It's going to be R-rated R. I'm not sure which one's it going to be.
Rated R, R-rated.
R-rated, R-rated, rated R. But it's all real. Anyway, I'm with R. Kelly. We're talking about his new double album, which is incredible, I have to say. And just talking about some of the tracks and his ability to write songs and how he writes songs. You are known as a workaholic, just a total music man, much in a way Prince was known throughout the 80s as somebody who just always wanted to make music. Are you obsessed with making music? Is it an obsession? Is it just with you? Is it?
Yeah. Well, I would say I used to be obsessed with writing and making music. Now, man, it's who I am now. It's like I walk it, I'm married to it. It just comes to me. I don't even mess with it anymore. I used to sit down to the piano and try to figure it out and how to try to figure out what my next song is and try to write it. But man, it's so nature now, man. It's just when I wake up, or sometimes I wake up out of my sleep, and there's a song. I get awakened by a song. It messes with me sometimes. It just haunts me, sometimes, and I welcome it with open arms. I love it, but it's just like you can get hit in a certain spot on your body so much it becomes numb. So that's how writing is for me, man. It's just I feel like it just as I breathe.
Has it got anything to do with how tough your background was? I've read interviews saying that you did enjoy, growing up in a sense. There are parts of growing up that you did enjoy, but you had a single parent, you had brothers. It must have been tough. Is that what drives you on? Is that what keeps you mentally totally focused on winning big time?
Yeah, and plus I've always been faced with out of this world decisions and big situations and crazy situations. I've been through a lot, of crazy stuff in my past. Of course, I love sitting on the porch though with my mom and my brothers and sisters and listening to Al Green or Donny Hathaway or Stevie Wonder or something like that, just block parties and things like that. But other than that, I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. And I believe the depth of your struggle determines the height of your success. What you've been through creates a passion for what you're preparing yourself for. And in this particular situation, music was something that I was doing, and music affects the world. It's when you hear jazz, you feel jazzy. You hear blues, you feel bluesy. You feel church, you want to cry. You hear it. But I do feel that me going through all of the things that I've been through in my life has allowed, all the way up to now, has allowed me to be able to write like I do. That's why I feel like my songs are like in 3D. It's like the words are like right at you. And I try not to cut corners.
So like Michael Jordan, and I have to say like Michael Jordan, in the way that he's quite a perfectionist and he doesn't like losing,
right,
and things like that. Do you get, you're working with Sparkle now, which I'd like you to talk to me about, but also do you get slightly frustrated if somebody doesn't have the same, get up and go that you have? How is it, how do you find producing and writing for somebody like Sparkle, for example? Do you have to tell her, you got to do this, you got to do that?
Well, yeah, first of all, I get very frustrated, and that's maybe bad, maybe good. I feel it's good on my part, because that's how Miss McGlynn was. That's how she was with me. She would get frustrated, hit me in my stomach, do whatever she had to do to get me to sing the right way. But I get very frustrated with people that I try to work with, and because I know I'm giving them 200 or 300%. I'm giving them my all. The same thing I would give for me, I give for those who are writing, or sometimes even more, because I'm on the outside looking in, and that's a plus for me. With Sparkle, particular situation, it was the same way. I gave her a choice, no choice, and told her she had to sleep on the couch and she had to show me, that this is what she wanted. And her being a woman, if she did that, I never told her, but if she did that, that would really be a plus for her because she's a woman. You don't get find too many women that's willing to come just sleep on the couch to make it, to get into this business. It's better than sleeping on the couch than sleeping in a bed, because that happens also in this business. But that wasn't her case. She just had to sleep on the couch and wait till a song come to me for her. And when it come, you're going to get up off the couch and go in there to the mic and sing it, And that's pretty much how her whole album came to be.
This is an aside.
Did y'all hear that? Did you hear what he just said? Sleeping on the couch instead of sleeping in the bed. That's how they end up, people get their stuff because they slept in the bed, meaning that they, slept their way up to the top. But actuality, nothing happened. According to this, right now, hey, at the time, it didn't. I don't know what happened afterwards, but here it is.
Many top R&B artists from the States sometimes tend to ignore Europe a little bit because it's a tough market. Mm-hmm. It's not as fruitful as, say, America. You have to work ever so hard for less reward. Do you do it because you just want your music to be felt everywhere, or do you do it, I don't know, do you do it because you're forced to by the record company?
Yeah, it definitely depends on what you're in this for, And like I said earlier, I'm in this for the love. I love what I do, and it just amazes me that 12 years ago I was in a basement of my girlfriend's grandma's house rehearsing and writing songs. And those very same songs here 12 years later, someone in Europe is singing. That's amazing to me, man. It's just touching to me, man. So when I go over there, it just touches me, man. So that's why it's important to me to go over there and sing and just hear people sing my music and don't know English and they just sing my music.
And sing new tracks off your new album, Rated R, which is what we're here and we're talking about. We spoke about some collaborations earlier. There's one that stood out straight away as a meeting of two of the huge performers out there at the moment, and one that's not particularly from your genre, Celine Dion. Mm-hmm. Is this about a matter of two great singers collaborating, or is this something a little bit more cynical, or is this just something more organic?
It's something more me being A&R a little bit, but this is a very special song. It's a very special song. It's called Angel that I wrote, and as I was singing it and writing it, and I got done with it, it was missing something, and I realized that it needed I wanted a female voice with it, and I thought about Celine, and I reached out, and I was very shocked, to be honest, that we got a quick response, and that she would do it and everything, and we went to Canada and laid the vocals, and I was amazed, and it came out amazing.
A chance of a future single?
Oh, definitely.
And a worldwide smash, no doubt. Could be one of your biggest yet.
Yeah, faithfully, that's what we're, everybody is saying in the company. They loving the song.
But the amazing thing about this album is that you can go from a duet with Celine Dion to a cut with Keith Murray, for example.
Yeah.
Who's total homeboy, and a track called Home Alone.
Yeah. Well, when you get rid of the creativity and the collaboration, the thought of who's who, we're all human. And, we're all on this earth together, and we all breathe the same air. So, but everybody have their own style. And that's what I'm trying to get people to appreciate when they hear this album. Don't just think he got his that and other, and then now he's with her and he's with him, but just think of it that way. We are all human. So the collaboration, that's what it's about, Well,
let's say a bit of that collaboration with Keith Murray. This is Home Alone. Yeah. Let's talk about at least one more track off the album, I think, before we leave the album. You liked Etc. as well? I'm going to talk about Etc.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. It's Radio 1, The Rhythm Nation, Sunday evening with R. Kelly, going through Rated R, his new double album. Oh, sorry, it's just R.
Yeah. Just R.
Sorry, okay. Sorry. I just got so much in my head. Sorry. We're on The Rhythm Nation with me, Trevor Nelson, and R. Kelly, playing tracks from his double album, R. And it's a hot one. That was Keith Murray, Home Alone with R. Kelly. And we spoke about collaboration with Celine Dion. And let's talk about another track on your album, Etc.
Etc. That's a very interesting track because when I was writing it, I didn't have a hook for it. I wanted to talk about so many things I wanted to do with my girl that I couldn't fit it all into the chorus. So I ended up saying, and et cetera, like you do in a conversation. And then out of nowhere, I started thinking about how you make love, and then you go to the IHOP, and that's why I put that in the bridge of the song. But the whole base of the song is, I want to do this, I want to do that, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how that came about.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Really hope this album does fantastically well for you. I'm sure it is. I think it's a landmark album again. It just never cease to amaze me. But is music totally the future for you? Music related things. You're financially secure now. Really, is there anything outlandish that we don't know about that you may be getting into?
Other than music, no.
I don't believe that for 1 minute.
Isn't that hard to believe?
I think there must be something lurking there.
I tried to do the face and everything, and it didn't work.
I don't believe that for 1 minute.
Man. There's a lot of things that I'm trying to do. I just can't really get into now. But you guys, will find out eventually. But my whole thing right now is, and this is the truth. My whole thing right now is music, and trying to get myself to a situation where the world knows my name and knows my music, and go down in history.
Is it a thing? Is it this whole American thing of be the best you can be? Because you are a perfectionist with your songwriting as well, aren't you? So have you not completed the course yet for yourself?
No, I haven't. No, it's still a lot more to go. I still have a lot in me to come out.
I can't say any more after that, really, can I?
Artists that you admire and
oh yeah.
And the song you composed for another artist.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we'll just throw that in, okay? Mm-hmm. We can tell from your music the kind of artists that have inspired you. It's the Isleys and the Marvins and stuff. It's there.
Yeah.
What about contemporary artists that you might admire as well?
I don't. As far as
it doesn't just have to be in the R&B field. It could be any field. I mean, are there? Is there anybody out there you think, well, I'd do that slightly different if I worked with that person? You haven't worked with everybody. You've worked with, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm always saying that. I'm always listening. Like I say, I listen to a song or see a movie, and I'm always critiquing even my stuff. I'm always saying, not critiquing, not saying that it's wrong, but I always, I'm a remix freak. I love remixing things. I love changing things around. So when I hear a song out there, or Boys to Men, I would hear something they do, and I love their voices and everything. And I'll say, oh man, I would have put that there. Oh man, or change that for a remix. I would think of things like that. I do that all the time.
You've been involved in a few remixes. You were recently on the Wycliffe.
Yeah,
I was surprised that you won that remix. Actually,
right.
Not being on the original, but on the remix. Was that just a phone call, a favor, or how did that?
That's just me and him being in the same studio in the same building and just tripping out all night. And I was in the studio hanging out with him, and we had a track up, and just went in there to the mic and did it. And it's just they put it out. That's how that happened.
He's a typical example of what can just happen overnight for people because, again, he's an artist who was keeping it very much real with the first album. And then they kind of broke into a more commercial thing.
Yeah.
And have had huge success. And then the power that gives you to do what you want to do.
That's right.
Which is proven with your success as well and what you want to get into.
Right.
So one question I haven't asked you is your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
It is obviously quite grand compared to what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed that there are times when I feel that you miss the innocence and the hunger, possibly. When it was tough, when it was hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I do all the time. Even now, I miss that. I really do. I miss. But see, that's why my songs are what they are, because I don't forget where I come from, and I miss it every night and day where I come from, and that's why there's a certain humbleness about my music and what I do. Is because a lot of people sometimes they forget all about that. They don't even want to think about that dish rag on the floor and that small 1-bedroom apartment. They don't want to think about, but I actually miss it. I actually get to myself and wish that, man, sometimes I roll down the street and I say, you know what, I'm going to get me an apartment right over there and get me a studio apartment, because I just want to do that because it feels good. It reminds me of my mother. It reminds me when we were one family. So that's very important to me. That's who I am, really.
This sort of isolation that you get because you are now at a certain level and there are only a few people that are at that level with you, does that make it even that much harder to, how can I put it, to write songs just from the heart, because you're clinging on to that feeling of the past that keeps you know what I'm saying? You say you write songs and you can get that emotion out of you because you've been from the school of hard knocks, Is it hard to keep clinging on, and sometimes does it mess with you, just thinking, because the bad things come up all the time?
Yeah, it does. It hurts sometimes, actually, when I be around other guys or girls, my friends, that are not as successful as I am, and they don't do what I do. They just regular 9 to 5 or whatever they do. And I look at, or if I go to an old girlfriend's house to see her grandmother because we were close, and it shows me how much I've been groomed and how much I've grown, and it's enough to make you cry, because it just hurts sometimes.
Well,
If you lost it all tomorrow.
yeah, I think that's a good way to end it. If you lost it all tomorrow, what would you do? Apart from maybe kill yourself? No. Yeah, if I pulled a rug from beneath your feet tomorrow and you fell flat on your back and you were more or less penniless again, do you think you're strong enough to continue living or continue with what you've been trying to do all your life? Or
Well, I couldn't answer that question, because that thought is so far out of my mind and out of my reach that I would advise anybody not to even think on anything like that, because I just couldn't. I wouldn't imagine it, because I've worked too hard to get to where I am. I worked too hard, and I still continue to work hard. I work just as hard now as I work to get where I am now.
who inspires you to do that? Did somebody else inspire you to be like that? Are there people you look at and you just say, that guy or that woman is showing me the way?
I don't know, man. It's just something in me that's just continuing to drive. When I think of me, I think of the Titanic, not in a sinking way, but when it was sailing.
I want to mention one other person before we end the interview, and that's Michael Jackson, who is a veteran of this industry and a record-selling artist of this industry. And I read that when you worked with him, you were a bit nervous at first, but the moment you got into it, you just felt, yeah, this is what it's about. Was that possibly in recording and working with somebody else? Was that probably the pinnacle of your career so far?
yeah, that was a big pause moment for me, you know, when Michael stepped in the studio and or even asked me to write a song. I mean, at the point that he did it, I never thought that it would happen, even though Miss McGlynn told me a long time ago that Michael Jackson's gonna ask you to write for him one day. And I would just laugh at that because that's so funny to me, because I don't believe in all of that psychic stuff, man. I just don't get in all of that, you know. So, and when she said it, you know, I couldn't believe it. And when he asked me, first thing I thought about was her. And I said, but I'm still not gonna believe. I mean, this has got to pass before I can say, you know, I've done this. And when I did the song, when he came into the studio, yeah, I was overwhelmed, nervous, and all of those things. But I was professionally that way. I wasn't so nervous. I would faint when he came into the room. But once he came into the room, I went in the bathroom and fainted, and kind of fell out. But then after that, I came back like it was no big deal. He was here, and we continued to work. You know, I offered him some Chinese food. You know, the whole nine. You know, things kind of smoothed out after that.
Well, the result was the result you couldn't have dreamed for, but it was the right result. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So you left the mark.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Anyone you want to work with?
Yeah. Aside from Michael Jackson, is there anybody aside from who you've worked with already that you'd love to work with?
Yeah, I got a couple of songs that I just wrote like 3 weeks ago for Garth Brooks. Hopefully that'll happen.
He return a call.
Well, you never know.
Anyway, R. Kelly, it's been
faithfully.
It's been fantastic talking to you, meeting you again. Like I said, I think the album's fantastic. I'm not just saying that.
Man. Thanks.
It's another piece of art, and
I appreciate it.
You know, if you've got a message for your European fans, just please tell them what to expect.
Well, I'll tell them to. I don't want to tell them to expect the bomb album because I want them to be the judge of that. I'll know that when I make it over there, but I would like to tell them to keep their heads up. If anybody struggling musicians is trying to make it, keep God in your life first. Believe that you can. And that's the only way you're going to do it. You got to take that negative energy out and thinking, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't, because if you can think it, if you can see it, then it can be done. It's just up to you to believe that.
You heard that, right? All right. That's basically it on that one. So, guys, I'm going to go to the other side because I want to start that book for y'all. Y'all ready to listen to the book? All right. I'm about to go. Any questions, anybody? Peace out. See y'all on the other side. Love you guys. Bye. Hold up. I'm going to the other side. I'm going to my backup channel. I'm going to the backup channel. See you in the backup channel.